Many of you have heard us talk about Hormone Harmony by Happy Mammoth, the supplement that helps women maintain optimal hormone levels, with over 50,000 glowing reviews from women worldwide and 98% saying they recommend it to friends and family. Now you can take those results even further by pairing it with their prebiotic collagen protein, which helps restore gut lining integrity, promoting overall hormone levels. Now, I've struggled with occasional digestive issues, and since taking the prebiotic collagen protein, I've noticed a real lift in my energy and overall well-being. Happy Mammoth is dedicated to making women's lives easier. And that means using only science-backed ingredients that have been proven to work for women. They make no compromise when it comes to quality, and it shows. Right now, you can try prebiotic collagen protein and Hormone Harmony risk-free and get 15% off your entire first order with the code DATEABLE at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use the code DATEABLE for 15% off today.
Have you ever rooted for a central couple in a horror movie? Then you are going to love House of Rain by New York Times bestselling TikTok sensation Harley LaRue. Happy endings and horror can mix after all. It's a gothic sapphic romance meets supernatural suspense, equal parts sinfully spicy and bone chilly. Salem was supposed to be on her honeymoon. Instead, she's trapped at Belfour Manor with Rain, a woman hiding secrets as dark as the house itself. This book gets 4 out of 5 peppers for bringing the heat. If you're a fan of The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager or Verity by Colleen Hoover, this must-read thriller is for you. The book just sucks you in. I swear I even caught myself looking behind my shoulder once or twice because Harley LaRue builds this tension that just lingers. You can find House of Rain by Harley LaRue wherever books are sold in print and in ebook. The gorgeous deluxe hardcover first printing is only available for a limited time, so grab yours before they are gone.
Hi, I'm Yue Xu.
And I'm Julie Kraftchick.
We're active daters turned dating insiders.
Here to dive into everything modern dating and relationships.
Welcome to Dateable. Welcome back, everyone.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to both of us as well. We are here to answer some burning dating questions and some hot dating topics. Before we do, I actually had a conversation with someone who was asking me, how often should you be going on dates? Like, she's like, I'm in a good groove where I'm doing the apps and meeting people in person, but how many dates is too many and how many is like not enough? What's like the number I should be hitting?
I mean, I don't think there's a number. I wish that it was as easy as that. But I do think that she brings up a really good point that you want to be to the point that you're not starved. That like if you go on like one date, you're like, oh my God, this must work because I'm never on a date. But you also don't want to get to the point that it becomes your entire life and you're now burnt out from just going on date after date after date and not actually doing anything else. So my take would be 1 to 2 a week. And I think the 1 to 2 could be an actual date or someone that's in the pipeline if you don't have one, planned. So for instance, this might sound too rigid for some people, but it helped me to have 2 days. Wednesday and Sunday. Those were my 2 main days. And Wednesday was reserved for the date. And then Sunday was more to get new people in the pipeline. So that was like starting the date. I didn't love doing dates on Sundays though. So maybe I backtrack a little that I would do if I had 2 dates lined up that week, it would be like Wednesday, Friday or something. Like if I was to do it again. But maybe even 1 a week is enough. Now that I'm saying this out loud, I feel like that would kind of be exhausting to do like Tuesday, Wednesday or Wednesday, Thursday. And then even like I liked personally reserving weekends for more like existing connection.
Yeah, I think, yes, I'm exhausted thinking about 8 dates. 8 dates a month if you're really doing 2 dates a week. And when I was dating, I guess more consistently, when she asked me this, I was like trying to count how many dates I was really going on. I think I was doing like 2 dates a month.
Okay.
Of new dates and maybe like 1 date a week of an existing connection at most. Yeah, at most. And I think even that I was only able to do like for 3 months.
I guess
You know?
if you have an existing person, it's easier to slot that on the weekend, I found. Like I would be more
Mm,
excited to go out with someone that I knew that was already a vibe. So I felt like I didn't like doing first dates on like the weekend because if it didn't go well, then it was kind of like a downer. Like I'd prefer to do that on a day that I wasn't really doing anything anyways. Like there was no
right.
opportunity cost.
Right. Yeah. Like Wednesdays are perfect for that.
Wednesday is the best day because it's,
Yeah.
or Thursday. I think Wednesday or Thursday are ideal because it's socially acceptable to be out and about and you're not using prime time.
Yeah, exactly. And it breaks up the week. Something for you to look forward to.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's our answer.
1 to 2. But I think also, like, if you don't have the one, that's also okay. That's why I liked having Wednesday as like that night that even if I didn't have someone to go on a date with, maybe there was a follow up on an app that I could do, like a phone call or a video call or
Yeah.
something that was like, or go to an event or something that was like dating adjacent, even if it wasn't an actual date.
Right. Some sort of connection, fostering some new or existing connection. Yep. And I guess it's all dependent on you. I think
It is.
some people like love doing 5 dates a week. And I don't know how you do that. But then some people, like me, I just get so burnt out from those social interactions. I think 2 a month was perfect for me. But yes.
I would argue even the most extroverted person, I think 5 is pushing it.
5 is a lot. 5 is a lot. Yeah.
Because I feel like it's one of those things that one, you start to see things happen in patterns, you start to like feel like bad about things. So like if all of a sudden the 5 people you're talking to fall off the face of the universe, you're like, it's detrimental. Where if it was like one person, it wouldn't be that big a deal.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
And you're not
Don't
present.
overdo it.
That's a lot. How do you keep those people straight? How do you remember their info?
I know. Just like how we complain about messaging on apps that go nowhere, there's also a thing as like going on too many dates that go nowhere. It's equally as exhausting, but it's all related to what we want to talk about today.
It is. And we got a really great review. So first want to say thank you and also a call out. If you haven't left us a rating and review, you can do so in a few different places. You can go to Apple Podcast and you can actually write something, which is what our listener today did. She wrote her brunch talk question in the review, which is always the best way to go right to the top of our queue. Or if you're on Spotify, you can just leave a rating. They do not have a place to put reviews, although you can comment on specific episodes. And we do take a look at those comments. So if you have like a question that's adjacent to an episode, feel free to leave it there or just comment in general. We love the conversation. And if you're on YouTube, there's not like a review place, but definitely come and subscribe and join us here. And of course, like feel free to leave questions in the comments of past videos.
You all are so shy on YouTube. I thought you were all really confident in your messaging and your questions. We haven't gotten any questions on YouTube. This is the place. Like, you would stand out because nobody's asking us questions.
Who's going to pop our cherry? YouTube cherry. Remember when we used to get a bunch of comments that were like in Chinese?
Oh,
on
yeah.
YouTube.
From bots?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at least
where
we don't
you
get
all
that.
at?
We don't get
Even
that
bots.
anymore. No, it's better. It's better than at least our only
Why are we not
messages
getting
are not bots.
My goodness. But yes, what we want to talk about today is, let's say you are really messaging someone a lot on an app, but you haven't met in person. How can you get someone to ask you out?
Like force them into it?
Yeah, force them into it. But I think what this listener was saying is, although it's 2025, and this is a woman asking this question, she didn't want to be the first one to do the asking out, but she felt like they were vibing and it's just back and forth messaging. But how do you get them to actually do the ask?
They were striking out on the apps. But I guess how do you strike out if you're not asking out?
Right. Yeah. You don't strike out. You have to try it before you strike out. And then it feels good. I get it. It feels good to be pursued, but it also feels good to take things into your own hands, to have control over it. But I guess if you're at that point where it's like, oh, I just don't want to make that first move, what do you do?
I mean, I would love to see this person's convos. I think that would give us so much intel into what's happening. But I know I found personally, and with people that we've helped through Dateable, that you don't need to necessarily be the one asking, but just giving permission in today's world.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it seems so obvious, especially in like hetero dynamics, that it's like, oh, of course, like men will be the pursuers. That actually isn't an of course anymore. So I think
Yeah.
giving permission, and it could be saying things like, I'd love to like bring this to text. I used to always just blame the app. I'm like, it's so much easier to text. Like, would you be down to do that? Or this story is like so good that I want to tell you, but I think it'd be better to like tell you in person. Like things
Mm-hmm.
that kind of allude to like, I want to take the next step with you, whether that's actually saying like, let's move to text or let's move to a phone call or let's talk about this in person. I think that's very different than like explicitly being like, do you want to go on a date with me? But it still moves things along.
A lot of people treat the asking out as like the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
They'll say their messaging will be about everything but
Right.
meeting up in person. So you just have to keep at it with that topic. Don't treat it like the elephant in the room. Actually acknowledge it. Oh, it'd be such a funny story, like you're saying. It'd be such a funny story when I see you in person. Or I'm really looking forward to seeing that hat you've been talking about. You know, something that just keeps pushing to that direction. And if they're still not asking you out, then you kind of know that some people want to just stay in the messaging zone. And then you can stop wasting your time because it doesn't sound like they want to get off the apps.
I know this person really said they don't want to be the person asking out, but I'm just going to challenge for 1 second.
Yeah.
Apps are just inherently awkward. They are. And I don't actually think they are like indicative of like the whole relationship or setting things up. I think even if you're the one to suggest meeting up, if you're like, hey, it's been cool talking to you, I'd love to meet up sometime, that doesn't mean that like you're going to be the one asking and pursuing for the rest of this relationship. But it does mean that it has a chance of getting off the ground. And one person needs to do it. I think if we're so in this mode of like, I can't say anything and I can't do anything and I'm going to be like the one that's not the pursuer for the rest of this relationship, I think that's short-sighted and more playing into like dating dynamics than like building a relationship with someone.
There's also just such different definitions of what being pursued means, what that courtship is. My current partner will tell you he pursued me for 6 years, but I did not feel that. I had no freaking clue. Like, what?
You're like,
that's
you
your
did?
definition? You through LinkedIn, that was your idea
Oh
of pursuing
God.
me. But I think even on these apps, some people may feel like they are pursuing you, but because they haven't asked you out, you don't see that. You don't interpret that. So sometimes it's just better to meet someone in person and kind of tell them, what is the dynamic that you prefer? I love being with someone who can plan dates. Not all the dates, but like some of the dates. That's kind of you saying I like to be pursued without being like, I want you to pursue me, because nobody really knows what that means.
I feel like by the end, I just didn't want to be on the app and I just valued my time more than anything. Than thinking about like, am I playing it cool and being coy enough? And I just remember like telling my husband now, I was like, it's like, here's my number. Like, if you want to like talk further, because I just like didn't want to do that. I actually said this line and I honestly didn't even like think anything of it. Like I was like, oh, I'm going to actually go take a bath. Here's my phone number. And he was like, oh, and I'm like, whoa. And to me, I'm like, this is actually pretty funny because my old bathtub was not glamorous at all. It was like questionable if I should be even take baths in there. But it was because I just wasn't thinking. I was just like, I don't care. Like, I'm just gonna like say it how it is.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like I wasn't like scheming up this perfect line to tell him or anything. Right. It was just that was happening. And I didn't want to like have this go to like app limbo where I never saw the person again.
And I think that's why your kind of strategy of doing dating apps on Sunday nights is perfect for something like this. You can, really link up and feel the vibe with someone on the app. And then you can just text, hey, I only check this on Sundays. Yeah. If you want to meet up this week or before the next Sunday, here's my number. Right. Yeah. But just so you know, I'm not checking this app for another week.
Right. And how cool does that sound? Like I have better things to do in my life.
Yeah, I don't touch this thing for 7
Yeah.
days. So if you really want to meet up and see where this goes, like, yeah, this is your chance.
Or just be the one to exit the convo, because I think the
Mhm.
the number one way to never go on a date with dating apps is to stay in like the app messaging hole forever.
Uh-huh.
And
Yep.
I feel like I hear in this person's like what they wrote in that they just feel like there's something wrong with me. Like, why am I having all these issues? It's not just you. Everyone is getting stuck in this. I say that like hopefully in an endearing way that like makes you feel better, that there's nothing wrong with you. It's the way apps are built. But it just like the connection dies off and then neither party feels like they have an in to ask them out anymore. So
Yeah.
why not make the initial convo pretty short? Like exchange enough info that you feel comfortable moving it along. Get a Google Voice number if you're not comfortable with text messaging and giving out your real number, because I think even that progression makes it feel like something's happening. It doesn't
Right.
make like feel like you're getting stuck in this black hole of no progress.
My 55-year-old neighbor who just started dating 2 years
Love
ago
him.
after a long marriage and divorce, he was like so excited when he first got on the apps because he was having all these conversations with all these different women. And then soon enough, a lot of them became what we call the messaging graveyard.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, here's another graveyard of messages, RIP to Stella. Right?
Right.
He would show me pages and pages and pages of messaging that seemed really promising that went nowhere. So it shows you everyone's experiencing this, but at some point you got to say, this is a dead conversation. I'm burying this conversation because it's really moving nowhere. Or I need to keep this conversation alive by actually taking it to the next stage. Otherwise, if your goal is to have a long graveyard of messages, sure,
Right.
yeah, you've accomplished your goal, but nobody really wants that.
The thing is, I know your neighbor. He's very charismatic and
Yes.
talkative. And I bet the women he was talking to were also. And if you look
Yes.
at the conversations, it's usually not because like someone just like was dead air and didn't know what to say next. Again, it goes back to the medium of dating apps. Like this is a flaw with dating apps. It's not because of like the people. It's just this digital communication, and eventually it hits a dead end, and then it just gets awkward if too much time progresses. So
Yes.
don't have that time linger on. Like I really think like from all the times that I use dating apps, and I actually heard from a lot of men on dating apps that they felt like with me things moved and they didn't feel that with other people. I never kept things going more than a couple days on an app. Ideally, even that Sunday, you get it. If for someone that you're vibing with, move it to text message.
Yes.
Anytime it's stayed on that app for more than like 2 to 3 days, it's a graveyard.
It's a graveyard. Yeah, kill that thing. And to be fair, I read these messages that were in his graveyard, and he did ask them out.
He did,
and it
okay.
Went silent after
Well,
he
then
did
that's
the ask
on
out,
them. Yeah.
which then makes him less willing to ask out
Well,
on
yes.
apps because he's like, I keep getting this silent treatment after I do ask them out.
That's a really good point, because I think there's a cycle that people will do the behavior that like, you know, and feel like they don't want to put themselves out again. So it might not be this person that feels like something's wrong with them. It might not be that. It might be their past experience with apps.
And I think some people are just sick of it, like sick
Yeah,
of being
people
rejected.
are sick of it. People
and
are
they
sick
don't
of apps.
know,
Yeah.
and they don't know what the move is. So
Right.
if you do give them permission, even drop hints or even just ask out, it takes the guesswork out. And I think for him, he was so disillusioned by this whole experience because it, like, his conversations had so much momentum,
Yeah.
so much flirtation.
Yeah.
And then he would be like, you know, I would love to meet you. How about Tuesday? And it'd just be crickets, be nothing. And like he would do a double text like Wednesday, nothing, just silent. So I get it. If you are experiencing that over and over again, maybe you don't want to ask someone out again. So don't be that person.
I want to dive into this even more, but before we do, let's take a quick break to hear from our partners. You guys know I'm all about clean eating, but but I just learned about the hidden microplastics in my home. That's why I've made the switch to Blue Land across all the cleaning products around my house. Their products meet the highest standard of clean. They're effective, yet gentle on my family and the planet. Blue Land was also named an EPA Safer Choice Partner of the Year. From cleaning sprays and toilet bowl cleaner to dishwasher and laundry detergent tablets, Blue Land's formulas are 100% microplastic free, made with certified clean ingredients free from chlorine, bleach, and harsh chemicals that are safe to use around my household. I love not having to choose between the safe option and what actually gets my house clean. The dishwasher and laundry tablets are now staples in our home. Blue Land has a special offer for our listeners. Right now, get 15% off your first order by going to blueland.com/dateable. You won't want to miss this. blueland.com/dateable for 15% off. That's blueland.com/dateable to get 15% off.
What's the one thing about your health you wish someone had told you years ago? Well, for me, it's how important the gut is. Truly, the gut is the foundation of overall health and vitality. It's not just about digestion. The gut affects everything from your energy levels and mood to weight management and even longevity. And while most gut supplements contain probiotics or probiotics and prebiotics at best, Bioma contains all three essential ingredients your gut needs. Visit gobioma.com/dateable today. That includes prebiotics, probiotics, and postbiotics. Each ingredient is science-backed and third-party tested. Just take 2 capsules before breakfast and take the guesswork out of feeling your best. Visit gobioma.com/dateable today. That's GOBIOMA.com/DATEABLE.
So a couple things here too is we clearly don't know your text string, everyone that's listening, but also the person that listener that wrote in. I would first of all go back to some of your old messages and look at where things were. Were there actually times that they were hinting or making moves and you weren't aware? Were there times where you actually may have been shutting it down unaware?
Yes.
I think all of that's important to know because it's so easy. We do a lot of calls with Dateable listeners. You can go to our website if you want to talk to us. And one thing that's like a constant that we really try to break through is the story of it always happens to me.
Right.
And it's so easy to go here. It's so easy to think that this is a pattern. I'm the only one that this is happening to, and it's always happening. Can you find proof it's not happening? Because I think that's step one, is to like get out of this like loop of like it's always happening to me. The second piece is in your convos, are you just like a sitting duck waiting and waiting? Or are you actually making some kind of signal or something that says, it's okay to move this along. Let's move this along.
Yeah. Sometimes we don't give those clear signals, maybe the opposite signals without even realizing it. And I've also been in the situation many times on apps where I am having a conversation with someone. They do ask me out and I get scared or I'm not as excited about meeting them in person. I think that's where you get your answer. So don't think of it as, oh, this is going to be like say a lot about who I am. No, you're getting answers. And I swear to you, a lot of people on these apps, they are scared to meet up in person. Wouldn't you rather find that out now than like going through days and days of texting back and forth with them?
I actually think there's the reason you're not getting asked out on dates is not that there's something fundamentally wrong with you, because how does anyone even know that?
Right. Yeah.
No one knows.
No one
that.
knows. Yeah.
What it probably means is that you're not being proactive enough in any way of like moving things along. And yeah, like going back and looking at the convos and making sure that they don't linger for ideally, I would say try to get them off the app 24 hours max.
Yeah. Yes.
Like have enough back and forth that the comfort is there, because I think the progression, it really makes or breaks it.
And to pay it forward, if someone does ask you out, this is like I'm begging everyone, if someone is asking you out on the apps and you're not ready or if you're not excited about it, say something. Say something along the lines of, I'm not ready to meet up in person, or I feel like, can we message a few more times, or
Yeah.
can we talk on the phone? At least give someone that courtesy, because
Right.
the more courtesy and respect we give each other, the better experiences we'll all have on these apps. And I swear, like, most of you are probably guilty of some sort of bad behavior on dating apps.
I love that because I think so often we think we need to give an answer too. Like if someone does
Yeah.
propose meeting up, the answer could just be like, actually, it would make me feel better to like chat a little more first.
Yeah. I'm not ready yet.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. But I think
No.
that leaving someone cold, it's not going to want to make them do it for other people. And that is just a vicious cycle.
And you know what's the worst is when they resurrect. When the graveyard ghost comes back 3 months later, when your text had lingered at what are you doing Tuesday? And they pop back up and they're like, hey, how have you been?
You know what though? I actually don't think it's that bad because again, this is
You don't?
no, because this is all just the reality of an app and people being busy and not knowing who you are and not prioritizing you. Let's just call it what it is. You're not prioritizing this person that you don't know, especially if no connection had been made. And it's hard to make connections on typing messages through an app. It's very difficult.
It is.
So that's why you got to move it along. But I did have one of those. I had a resurrection and it was me that initiated it. And I just went through Hinge at one point. This was like the last time I was dating. And I just messaged people again because I understood that things happen. Like people fall off, including myself. And I did go on a date with someone after doing that. Instead of like
you
swiping.
acknowledge?
Yeah, I acknowledged it. I was like,
okay, good. Yes.
Yeah, and it would, and I honestly didn't even pay attention. Was it me or them that dropped? I just mass messaged everyone. So I was like, look, I can go up and swipe again and get new people, or I can go back to these people that just kind of fell through because nothing happened. Again, it wasn't like some conversation that really went sideways. It just died in the graveyard.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, acknowledge it though. I think that's the most kind thing to do is, this conversation kind of dropped off, but she's kind of thinking about you. What,
I don't even know if you need to say
What?
thinking about you because you're not thinking about them because you don't know them.
Who are you again?
I think you could just be like, hey, last time when I was using the apps, I honestly wasn't like that. Whatever reason, I just like wasn't present enough. And
my head wasn't
or this
in it,
slipped through the cracks, like something like just wanted to say like, see what, I don't know, like start the convo again.
Maybe that's a dare for everyone on the apps right now is one, go resurrect one of the old conversations from the graveyard. And another is like, ask someone out.
Yeah. What do you have to lose?
What do you have to lose?
What do you have to lose?
An unmatch? Is that the worst thing that could happen? Someone just goes unmatched. Then you go, what's wrong with you?
If someone unmatches because you ask them out, it's like, okay.
Yeah, there's something. They're probably a bot or not real for some reason because that's just odd. And that's definitely happened to my friends.
Like guys or girls?
Both.
Yeah. I mean, look, it could happen. I don't think the first message back, if you're resurrecting, should be like, let's go out on Friday. Like maybe that's too much. But I think if you're in convo with someone and you move it to the next level to ask them on a date and they unmatch you, then it shows that they were never really there for this dating in the first place, or something about the interaction showed that you weren't the right match. Could argue that they could just tell you that, but whatever. Let's say they don't. Either way, it doesn't matter. It's just not your person.
Right. Or they're actively trying to cheat on their spouse or partner. And then they're like, oh, shoot.
Right. This person wants to meet in real life.
Oh,
Shit.
hell no. I just want some attention.
It's a good point. You don't really know why people are on here either. No, so that's why we can't take it personally. Like we're flawed because people aren't asking us out.
Right. You have no idea. But you are in control. You're in control of your time. And that's the most valuable thing, especially on these apps. And maybe every time you get to this interaction where you're like, is this going somewhere? Like, are we going to meet each other in person? Just say, okay, I have 30 seconds to decide what I want to do. Like, give yourself a time box. I have 30 seconds to decide what I want to do next. Okay, I'm going to decide to ask them out and then just do it. Like, save yourself the time, not even just them.
I know this sounds like a little grim in the whole disposable world of dating apps, but I actually don't think it needs to be if you look at it a little differently. So hear me
Okay.
out. You are not a real person to someone until you meet in person.
Yes.
That's a fact. Like, you could be someone that you're messaging, or maybe there's a little like intrigue if I looked you up on like LinkedIn or
Right.
something. But generally, especially in the very early stages of just like swiping on someone, it like our brains like don't register that this is a human being. And that's like where the demise of apps are. But also that this is where I'm saying to like use it to your benefit. So anything you do in those conversations of perceiving you as asking them out or initiating, it's not really. It's just moving it into the world where you can actually decide, do I want to go on a date with this person? I think of the first date when you meet on an app is really just that first meet. Like if you were in the wild, you would have met the person, you were just doing that on the app. At that point, then like the dynamics, because you're real, can actually come out.
Yes. And if we were to survey 100 couples who met on dating apps and said, how did you two get to meet each other in person? Who did the ask out? I would guarantee you 98% of the couples would not remember, nor would they
No.
care. No one's like recounting on their wedding day, Julie, were you, of being like, well, my partner asked me out first. So therefore, or I asked him out first. No, nobody's thinking in that way. It's more like, well, I'm grateful that we were able to meet up in person. That's the moment that matters.
I'm trying to think, like, do we even have our first Hinge convo? My partner had our first text convo saved, but I think our first Hinge convo is like in the ether somewhere. It's gone.
Because it doesn't matter, right? Like, who cares what you were talking? You got to meet each other in person and there was a connection. That's what matters. That's the only thing that matters.
And then you could argue, like, was it me that asked him out because I suggested moving to text, or was it him because he actually suggested going on meeting in person at a bar? Like, who cares? Like, it was a collaboration. It got us there. That's all that matters.
Who's keeping score? If you date someone who's like, oh, I win in this one because she asked me out, then that's not the person you want to be dating. You don't want to be like always indebted to someone who's keeping score on who's making a move. It's not a partner. That's a game.
I also think it's worth, if you haven't bought our book, if you haven't bought the book, go get the book, How to Be Dateable. If you have read the book, it's worth going back to the validation trap, because I think sometimes we think validation trap, like I'm seeking all of this by going on all these dates or, vanity swipes or just getting all these people interested in me. And I hear some of that in here, but the part of validation trap I hear even more in this question is like, I want to be pursued to show that this person likes me.
Yeah. To be chosen
and to not be the one doing the perceived effort. But I think there's many ways that like that gets in the way of like a connection forming. And trust us, you will know if they like you. You will know if you're the only one doing all the work to keep a relationship going. That is not what we're saying. We're not saying to stick around for that, but we're just saying like get it off the ground. Like see what happens.
Yes. Multiple things can be true. You can both initiate the ask out and still feel pursued at the same time. So maybe ask yourself this question. What if I could feel both? I'm in control and be the initiator and feel pursued at the same time. Let's see what happens. Just be open to that. I think especially as women, we've been taught you're one or the other. You can only think in one way or the other, or like date like a man. That whole thing. It's like, oh, date like a man. You just got to go out there and just pursue. What if you can hold everything, all of that to be true, be authentic and true to yourself in the way you want to carry yourself in the world and still feel desirable and lovable and pursued at the same time?
That's such a good point, because I think when you get to the place that you're not keeping score of who's asking out, you're able to hold space for both of those.
Yes.
Awesome. Well,
good combo.
Thank you for writing in. Thank you again for the review. And yeah, definitely go check out our website too. We offer profile review services and coaching. So if we see people's exact convos or hear from the horse's mouth, I don't want to call our listeners horses, but you know what I mean. Like we hear from
Beautiful horses.
we hear
Majestic
like
horses.
I think obviously we love answering these questions on Brunch Talk, but it's hard because we're missing like some of the nuance of your specific instance. We can definitely break it down with you a bit more with that context.
All right. Bye.
Bye.